Hi, how are you doing? It's Rob here, and got some new records to show, plus some older records. About 13 I think, so better rattle through these records pretty quick. Don't want to keep you. So today is my daughter's 20th birthday, so yeah, how time flies. Thought I'd just show you a little picture, a bit of fun. So this is Eleanor when she was about, I think she was about 5 here, and she went to school first day. So yeah, she looks like a movie star now. But yeah, anyway. So let's show the records, some new releases, and the first record I want to show is one that came out in May. Badly Drawn Boy. This album's called Banana Skin Shoes. One thing that frustrates me about a lot of new releases is when they come in like a double album. So, you know, 2 or 3 tracks on each side, which I do find a little bit frustrating. It just comes on black vinyl. Purpose inner with it. So yeah, this came out in May, and the opening track on this album, when I streamed it, I didn't really like it, and it kind of put me off listening to the rest of the album. It was only probably about a month ago when I started to listen to this album, and realised what a great album it is. It's got a poster with it as well. I know there's a few people out there on the BC who like Damon Gough, Badly Drawn Boy, but he's been sort of quiet for about 8 years. So, got a nice poster, a lot of words, very sort of lyrically heavy. I do like this picture inside of Damon. So what's the album like? So his first album came out in 2000 and it won the Mercury Prize. And he did the soundtrack for About a Boy, and his career seemed to be really, you know, going in one direction up. A lot of critical acclaim. But he suffered with depression and had demons, and I mean, I went to see him in 2017 at the Bridgewater Hall, and he suffered from stage fright. So, you know, you're always wondering whether he's going to come on stage or not, but he put a great show on. He's originally from Dunstable, but he's like an adopted Mancunian. So he's a big part of the Manchester scene, really. And he's 50 now, so. But this album is so joyous. For someone who suffers from depression, he's obviously come out the right side of it, because most tracks on this album are very uplifting. I couldn't recommend it more. It's probably a 9 out of 10 album, one of my favourite albums from this year. There's a track on here called Tony Wilson Said, which is a homage to Tony Wilson, who was the founder of Factory Records. If you've seen the film 24 Hour Party People, that's about Tony Wilson, real character, big part of Manchester. He died in 2008, sadly missed, but yeah, this is a very, 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 very strong album by Badly Drawn Boy, Banana Skin Shoes. Now, the next album I'm going to show, come all the way from Australia, so you might as well guess that it's King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. So it came, if you order it from Australia, you get the flightless sort of packaging with it, which I'm sure is, you know, biodegradable. I'll show you part of the inner sleeve. So it's a live album called Chunky Shrapnel, and it's the 16th album by King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. I think the debut album came out in 2012, so they've been busy. So I chose, there was 3 different variants of vinyl, but I chose the black and green splatter. So like I say, it's a live album, and I went to see them on this tour. So there is a track Road Train from the Manchester gig, but there's tracks from Utrecht, Luxembourg, London, Milan, Madrid, Barcelona. And if you're new to King Gizzard, this isn't an introduction. This is for sort of, you know, long fans like me. I mean, it's pretty hard to pigeonhole King Gizzard. The last studio album was thrash metal, which I enjoyed. Fishing for Fishes, very accessible. You know, they've done jazz albums, predominantly a psychedelic band. My favourite band over the last 10 years, without a doubt. So yeah, looking forward to a studio album pretty soon. So yeah, Chunky Shrapnel by King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. Now I've got a 10-inch to show by Squid. So I do like goldfish. One of the best things, I know you can't get them anymore from fairs, when you used to, you know, win a goldfish, take it home and give it to the cat. Well, no, we didn't do that. We didn't flush it down the toilet either. Anyway, so Squid are from Brighton. Very exciting new band formed in 2017. I got the Town Centres EP earlier this year, and this came out, the track Sludge and Broadcaster. Sludge is very much like LCD Sound System. There's Parquet Courts, there's Talking Heads, really fun music. They were due to play Glastonbury, and I'm sure there's a debut album on the way. I'm sure they'd have been touring this year. So like a lot of bands, especially new bands, it must be really frustrating with the COVID that they can't, you know, go out and play music. But this will do me for now. So yeah, Sludge by Squid. Another new album that came out in January. So I took my time buying it. It's Making a New World by Field Music. So this came out in January. I do have most of Field Music's albums on vinyl. This one's on red vinyl. Field Music's early albums, very much for me sort of pop music, very sort of XTC, Beatle-esque. Brewis Brothers from Sunderland. I think this is maybe their 8th or 9th album, commissioned by the Manchester Imperial War Museum to commemorate the end of the First World War. So it was going to play a live gig, and then they sort of come out with the concept and brought this album out. It's got instrumental tracks on it, it's pretty ambient in places, but there are sort of unmistakable Field Music tracks on it as well. If you're not aware of Field Music, maybe give them a listen. So yeah, Making a New Record, or Making a New World, the new record by Field Music. Now we've got a new band from Montreal, all my friends in Canada, and it's Welcome to Bobby's Motel by Pottery. So Pottery have been around for about 3 years, and this is just fun music. I mean, you can see off that sort of sleeve these guys are having a good time. You know, sort of very much sort of like Talking Heads to me. Parquet Courts, LCD Sound System. There's quite a lot of bands sort of with that sound at the moment, and this is a really strong debut, came out a couple of months ago. So when I picked this up, listened to it, it made me go on Amazon and pick up this sort of their first sort of EP, if you like, Pottery 1. And this is very much like the debut album, very strong. So yeah, I've not got that many Canadian bands in my collection, so look out for Pottery. Okay, now I've got some older albums, and I picked up Time Wind by Klaus Schultz. So this is kind of the sort of music I'm listening to at the moment. So it looks a bit proggy going off that. I was in one of these antique emporiums. It's on Virgin, so it's a reissue. This came out in '75. You know, when you go around those sort of antique emporiums and you're adjusting your mask, well, there was a guy who was selling records in there, and this was £8. I knew Klaus Schultz was an early member of Tangerine Dream, so I read up about it, and this is considered to be his best album. There's only 2 tracks on it, a track aside, like 30-minute instrumental music, and this is gorgeous. 10 out of 10 for me. Couldn't recommend it more. Klaus Schultz, still alive, from Berlin. I think he's just celebrated his 72nd birthday. He's released, I think, over 50 albums, some soundtracks. So yeah, I think this won't be my last album by Klaus Schultz. Okay, now this is very embarrassing because I'm going to show an album here that really should have been in my collection in 1979, but it wasn't, and I can't really explain why. It's Graham Parker and the Rumour and Squeezing Out Sparks, and I've heard a few people on the VC talk about this album. I think Rich McCook, James Griffiths, how good it is, and I do have a couple of Graham Parker albums that I don't really play that much, but when I showed the CDs a couple of weeks ago, one of the CDs I didn't show, and it was this album that I picked up for 50p, and I had it in the car and I was playing it on my way home, and I'm just thinking, this is perfect for 1979. It's on Vertigo. It just has a feel of 1979. When you're listening to it 40 years later, you do think you've missed the party a little bit, you know, but it's never too late, is it? You know, Discovering Japan, Local Girls, Nobody Hurts You. Could name every track on this album. It's as good as sort of the My Aim Is True and Armed Forces albums by Elvis Costello. Sort of fits really nicely with those. But why? Why wasn't Graham Parker as successful? Is it the name? Could it be as basic as being called Graham Parker? You know, it sounds like a Nottingham Forest midfield player. I know that was Gary Parker, but Graham Parker, not the sexiest name. Not like Elvis Costello, is it? But I was watching an interview with Graham Parker on YouTube, and he was saying he was on lockdown in London, but he's got a place an hour outside New York, so as soon as he could, he flew out to America, and he was on a jumbo jet with 62 people, so he had a few aisles to himself. Still really grounded. He was due to play some live shows this year, hoping to do them next year. He's nearly 70 now, but this is such a strong album, and yeah, I've been playing it quite a lot, and it just takes me back to '79. So yeah, Squeezing Out Sparks by Graham Parker and the Rumour. Okay, here's another record that really has no place in my collection, but I bought it and I like it quite a bit. It's Steve Hillage. And Open, and I do like how it's got the cutaway, you know, because you can be you know, crazy and put it in the wrong way around and stuff like that, but this is so Steve Hillage, part of the sort of Canterbury scene in the late 60s, and he was somebody who I steer clear of, but he appears on the new Orb album, so it made me sort of go and listen to his music a little bit, and I found some of it to be quite interesting. This was only £2, but I missed a trick because Steve Hillage shares my birthday, 2nd of August, so I could have used him on Rachel's contest. Some tracks on here I'm listening to, I'm thinking, why am I listening to this? It's too proggy, but then the next track is interesting, so my ears are kind of adjusting maybe I'm going a bit proggy, not too proggy, but a little bit proggy. So yeah, I enjoyed this. Open by Steve Village, and this came out in '79. Okay, I've got a couple of soundtracks. I'm looking to buy more soundtracks. Whiplash. So this film came out about 6 or 7 years ago. Bloodstained drumsticks there. If you know the film, you'll recognise that guy. So this is a film that I had on DVD. I picked it up at a car boot sale for £1 last year, I think. And I was having a boring Wednesday, and I thought, yeah, I'll watch Whiplash. And after about 10 minutes, I'm thinking, you know, why did I wait so long? I'd read reviews of it being such a good film about an aspiring young jazz drummer, and his sort of forceful tutor, teacher, if you like. It's a top movie, and it made me, you know, when you watch a film and you want to get the soundtrack, so ordered the soundtrack straight away. So yeah, it doesn't disappoint. Yeah, really good album, Whiplash. Okay, now I've got another instrumental soundtrack, and it's The Red Tent, Ennio Morricone. So Ennio Morricone passed away recently. I think he was 91, and I didn't have any of his music, but I'm starting to listen to a lot more sort of ambient instrumental music. And I was thinking I need to pick up some of his music. I mean, he's got 600 albums, I think, so you should be able to find them somewhere. So I went to my local record shop. This was the only one they had. I'd never seen the film. Looks like there's an airship crashing. Sean Connery's in the film, and it's really nice, really enjoyable. One side is just like one sort of piece of music, and then the other side is individual tracks, but it just makes me want to buy more Ennio Morricone. I was at a car boot sale this morning, and I feel like they're the ideal place to pick up Ennio Morricone soundtracks, and I found one for £1, so I'll be showing that at a later date, but hopefully I'll find a lot more, because if I see any for a good price, I'm going to grab them. So yeah, The Red Tent by Ennio Morricone. And the last album I'm going to show is, if in the background I had some music playing, so hopefully you could hear it, and it was Ariel M. So Ariel M, this album came out in 1997. Ariel M is David Paggio, who in the 80s was in a band called Slint. He's guested on numerous sort of albums, from sort of Stereo Lab to Interpol. He was in a band called Tortoise. He's in a new band called Household Gods. Originally from Louisiana. He's a guitarist. He unsuccessfully, thankfully, attempted to take his own life in 2015. But this album, I was in a record shop, my favourite one in New Mills, and they were playing this, and I asked Alex what it was. You know, when you're thumbing through records, and if they've got a good bit of music on in the background, we've all done it. You know, asked what's this, and picked it up. Didn't actually have a copy, I had to order it online. But yeah, ambient, enjoyable, relaxing music, and yeah, really pleased to have this in my collection. So yeah, Ariel M, and the album's called Ariel M. So coming up to 20 minutes, some new releases, some older stuff, hopefully something of interest for you. If you've got any comments, I'd love to hear from you. Best part of the VC is getting comments. Thanks for watching my video, and bye for now.